whether you're a runner or a cyclist or whatever sport you want to play, it's always fun when you're with someone else. Maybe your buddy, your partner, or whoever. It can be your gang as well. So it's always fun and it's always motivating when you do that activity with someone else or your group. There are days when you can't get off your bed, but it's your group, it's your social circle which will push you to go to that part of the world. People say that fitness is not a journey, it's not a destination, it's the way of life. So I have with me Atish Chhabria, founder of UACTIV. It's a social networking app for athletes. And this is Hit the Road. I am Rohan Thakar. Welcome to the show, Atish.
Thank you very much, Rohan. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good, feeling good, excited to be here, excited to talk about my journey and fitness in general.
Wow. So if you have not listened to our previous podcast, we had Chaitanya Velal, Ironman coach, a triathlete himself, and runs a gym called Multifit in Pune. He gave a lot of insights about the myths that people have regarding nutrition and the perfect nutrition one requires. So I insist you to go and listen to that episode. I'm sure you would enjoy. And coming up, we have Bharat Pannu, Lieutenant Colonel Bharat Pannu, who is going for race across America, world's toughest race, 5,000 kilometers in 12 days. And I'm sure you need to listen to that to get inspired and get on your saddle. So moving on to today's episode. So UACTIV is like a different app altogether. There are apps which people track to you. People used to track their activities. They used to track their walking, running, cycling, tennis, whatever. How is UACTIV different? How did it come to life altogether?
Sure. So when you described UACTIV previously, you mentioned that it's a social network, right? So
yes.
That is our core competence and that is our USP and that is our differentiator, that we are a social network.
Yeah.
When you talk about tracking, right, that is very quantitative, right? I mean, you're looking at how many steps you've done in a day or how many calories you've burned or how many flights you've taken. But UACTIV is not about quantifying your exercise regime or your fitness lifestyle, right? UACTIV is about making it or enhancing it to make it more fun, to make it more engaging,
right.
And to make it more social, right? So UACTIV is a social networking platform for all sports and fitness enthusiasts.
Wow.
You could be an athlete, you could be someone who's sort of at an intermediate level. You could be someone who's never engaged in a sport or fitness activity. UACTIV is for everyone.
Wow.
And what we really encourage our users to do is to actually try different activities, right? Okay. So if you're entering the platform as a squash player, we will try and push you towards another activity like a running or maybe biking or surfing. Anything, right? Because what we've noticed with millennials, and typically that's kind of who we're targeting, even though our target, our app users are very diverse,
right,
in their backgrounds and characteristics and demographics. But majority of them are millennials. So that's people between the ages of around about 18 to 34, 35, right? And what we've noticed is that these guys have this preconceived notion about fitness, right? And that notion is that, hey, it requires a lot of time, it requires a lot of effort, it could be boring at times, right? And I would rather prioritize something else. I would rather prioritize my social life, or I would rather prioritize my work, right? So we try to tell people that, hey, no, I mean, it's not boring, right? I mean, today, if you're a tennis player or if you've never played a sport, come try something out. Or if you play a sport, come try something different.
Okay.
Connect with someone from your area who shares the same sports and fitness sort of interests as you. Chat with them, do an activity with them, like expand your social circle, right? So that's what UACTIV is fundamentally all about.
So how did it come to life? What were you doing before that? How did UACTIV start altogether?
Sure. So I feel like most startup ideas are trivial in nature a lot of the times, right? And they're also driven by some sort of personal need. And my story is not very different. I think, when I look back to when or why or how UACTIV came into being, it was to tell people that, hey, today you're acquainted with meeting people online, right? Because you have platforms like Facebook, like Tinder, like BlaBlaCar, and these are all social networks that cater to different needs. Why not have a social network that caters to active living?
Wow.
Right? And the reason I thought about that was because I've been a very avid squash player for most of my life, right? Since I was maybe 12 years old or so. And I was living in the US for close to like 5 to 6 years. And I was living in the part of the US that didn't have a lot of squash players. So I was studying in a city called Atlanta, where squash is actually not even heard of. Like if you ask someone squash, they'll be like, "Oh, are you talking about racquetball?" And they're two very different sports. So I felt like, hey, if there was a platform for me to use that could connect me with other squash players, so that I could interact with them, schedule a squash game with them, then hey, that would be something really cool, and that would be something that I would use. And then I took a step back and I was like, in the college that I'm studying at, there are 20,000 students, right? There are definitely students like me who are facing similar issues with any activity that they engage in, right? So that was the seed of the idea. I thought about it when I was in college, and then of course I moved to New York to work, and that was where I got my first job. And my background is in finance, so is kind of like on the businessy side as well as in the arts. So I also have a degree in playwriting.
Wow.
So when I moved to New York, I had similar notions, right? And I noticed similar things regarding sports and fitness, that connectivity was an issue, community was an issue. And when you really think about sport, right, or fitness, I mean, there's both very universal in nature. So today, if I engage in an activity with someone, it doesn't matter what their gender is, what their ethnicity is, what their age may be. If we both love football, or we both love squash, or we both love tennis, or we both love going for a run, we can do it, right?
Wow.
There's no barriers as such, right? So it's so universal in its nature. So you really can't go wrong with connecting with a sports buddy online.
Wow.
Right? Because you're fundamentally looking for, hey, do we have the same sport interest or not? So yeah, and then my co-founder, his name is Bhavik Mehta. He was also in New York at the same time that I was, and then we chatted about this, and he had like a very similar idea in his head. Because he noticed these sort of nuances as well, in about connectivity or social networking in sports and fitness. So yeah, then we decided to sort of quit our jobs in New York, move back to Bombay, and just give this a shot.
Wow. And which period was it?
So this was towards the end of 2014.
Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah. So other than squash, what sport do you love?
So honestly, man, I am competitively the only sport I've played is squash. But other than that, I'm very much into running. So I run half marathons. I'm a recreational runner. I enjoy high intensity workouts. Not too heavy on going to the gym and lifting iron, but I enjoy outdoorsy workouts, and I enjoy adventure. So hiking, trekking, biking, all of that stuff. So yeah, but I guess specific to sport, my sport of choice for the last 15 odd years has sort of been squash. So.
Wow, that's brilliant. So when you said that you find people and it's like a network where you find friends, to play a sport. So I just remember that when we go for rides, when we go for runs, often other people cross you and just a hi. It's like it's a
Absolutely.
it's a connection that bro, you are my bro.
Yep.
That's the ride, bro.
Like I see it when I'm running on a marine drive or at Worli. I mean, a runner passing you by, it's like, hey, what's up? I mean, we may not know one another, but we do have some telepathic communication going on. Same with biking, right? And I think it fundamentally comes down to that kind of respect that you have for someone who enjoys the same activity, and someone who respects it and indulges in it, right? Gives it that time,
right?
So yeah, that exists, and I'm very happy to see that it exists in Bombay, right? Of all cities, where people are so engrossed in their own lives that you're able to acknowledge someone that you don't know out of sheer passion for the common sport or activity that you share. So,
it's awesome. It's health tech in India is quite a difficult market right now, and how is UACTIV going for it? What is it doing right now to build a community?
Sure. So yeah, when you talk about health tech, there are so many different things happening. Right?
Yes.
And some really, really innovative stuff. So whether you talk about hardware, which includes like your fitness trackers and whatnot, that are definitely taking it to the next level with artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And video on demand classes and everything. And actually giving you recommendations as to what your body is telling you, right?
Yes.
So depending on your sleep cycle, depending on your heart rate, depending on your exercise regime, these hardware technologies make recommendations. So let me first answer the question that how UACTIV fits within this universe.
Yes.
Right. So UACTIV is fundamentally about connecting with people.
Yes.
But pushing you to do an activity in real life. Right? That's what it's about. So you can compare us with what Tinder does for dating. We fundamentally do for sports and fitness, right? And a lot of people benchmark us as the Tinder of sports or the matchmaker for sports and whatnot. And I'm fine with that, right? So that's really what we're doing. And the way our platform keeps enhancing itself is that we learn from what our users want. Right? Because they're logging onto UACTIV, they're feeding in their interests, they're engaging with the app. So we are able to push them things that we anticipate can be of interest to them. So whether that's connecting with someone from your area, so we push them to people who they can connect with, whether that be some sort of community or group activity that may be happening nearby that we think that, hey, XYZ person may be interested in this running club or this biking club or this yoga in the park sort of group, right? Or this laughter yoga group. So that's what we fundamentally do. And that is a very integral part of someone's exercise regime or someone's fitness journey or sports journey or whatever it may be, because that brings that sense of community, that brings that sense of being social, right? Because today when you look at, again, like the more younger population, when you talk about millennials, right? What are we doing? Like we're spending 80% of our time on social networks, right? Whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Snapchat for that matter. So we have this fundamental longing to connect with people and tell them our stories, right? And be public about what we do. So this is a great platform for you to do that with regards to sports and fitness, right? Whether it be to share a story, whether it be to connect with people. And mind you, this is not about connecting with friends. This is about actually making new friends. Right? This is about finding motivation, right? Because a lot of people lack that, right? When the number one question the number one issue that people tell me that they have is, hey, I don't have the motivation to go to the gym, or I can't wake up in the morning and go for a run, right? Or yoga is just too boring. a lot of these problems get solved if you find a workout buddy,
Right.
And you guys are able to, push one another, compete with one another,
Right.
find accountability in one another, right? So yeah. And I think for us, it's not, we're not out there to be like, to build some fantastic IP or to be like, to get into some heavy hardware technology. We're very happy being a social network, and however small we may be, we're definitely an integral part of someone's journey, right? And I feel like that's very, very, very important, because it comes down to you committing to something. Right. So we've committed to being a social network, and we want to see it through. Right? We don't want to be like a jack of all, master of none. Right. So it's not like, today we're a social network, tomorrow let's decide to become a hardware company, the day after that let's, become a tracking company, very soon we'll be manufacturing apparel. So none of that stuff. In fact, what we do is we actually run a very interesting rewards program on our app. Okay. So what that means is, depending on how active a person is on our app, so however many buddy ups or pickups they engage in, we keep giving them rewards. And these rewards are actually given by partners from the sports and fitness ecosystem, right? Wow. So whether it be like an Azani that's giving you discount on their apparel, whether it be some sort of healthy food company giving you discount to, giving you some sort of discount or incentive to their meals, like their healthy meals and so on and so forth. So what we enjoy doing is actually collaborating with different companies in the space.
Wow.
Right? Because I feel like that's the number one sort of catalyst to growth. It's collaboration.
Yeah. And other than that, Indians love discounts, and that motivate them to go further.
We live in a cashback sort of phase, right? Everyone wants money back, or they want some incentivization or discount, which is fine. So yeah, this is a good hook for them, right? So I'm getting a discount. Maybe I should give this a shot. So yeah,
they're working out for getting that discount.
Yeah, exactly, right? So this is your reward for engaging in an active lifestyle. So yeah, it's totally worth it. And as long as it gives them that the exposure to that brand or to that meal or to that service being offered, I feel like, hey, that's a job well done from our end, right? Because today they know that this is out there and they can consume that good or service, and it can help them in the long run. Right.
That's brilliant. Other thing that I liked about what you said is that you help people push other people. While anyone can get an Apple Watch or a Garmin, but if they don't work out, if they don't get out of the bed, it's impossible.
What's the point?
Yeah. So it's the buddies which push them to get out of the bed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, today you invest in technology, right? Whether it be a Garmin, whether it be an Apple Watch, whether it be a fancy pair of ASIC shoes.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, none of that is going to do you any good till you don't put it to use, right? Put it to the use that it's built for.
Right.
And that's where human interaction plays a very important part, right? Because, and I know this is something that we're going to touch upon later, right? You've highlighted sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
Right. Without getting into too much detail about it right now, what is a sedentary lifestyle? Right? A sedentary lifestyle fundamentally means that today I'm spending majority of my time glued to some sort of technological device, right? Whether it be a laptop, whether it be an iPhone, whether it be an iPad. And today I have more screen time, right, on a weekly basis than I actually have time that I've spent working out. Right. So in a way, while we are a technology-enabled platform, what we're really telling people is that, hey, use our technology to interact with people in real life, right? So in part, trying to pull them out of this whole sedentary lifestyle per se, that people, that a lot of like 18 to 22 year olds, this is what they've grown up with, right? They've grown up in the iPhone generation or in the whatever laptop generation or whatnot, or in the Snapchat generation. So this is what they see, this is what they're used to.
Yes.
And this is what they feel like they can use to communicate with the outside world. But fundamentally, the more you're communicating with people online, the less you're communicating with them offline.
True.
Right?
Completely agree with it.
So yeah, we're trying to do our part in getting people out of that whole sedentary
That's awesome. So we'll just take a short break, and after the break, we'll discuss about how UACTIV is challenging millennials to get out of their bed. We'll be back in a short break.
Problems are everywhere. Some adjust their lives coexisting with it, while some who can't do much but complain. Then there are some who just run away from those problems. And here comes a special kind of people. The dreamers, the believers, the ones who are not fond of the rules. They are the ones who saw their problems differently. They saw the problems as opportunities to change themselves and the world. They rose by lifting others. Join us to know their epic journey of how they changed the status quo on Being the Change with me, Rohan Thakar, only on Ep.Log Media Network.
And we are back after the break. I hope you're enjoying listening to this conversation. It's quite interesting to know that how people are getting off their beds to actually get out and work out. So it's the body network, it's the psychology which affects people to get motivated, to get inspired, to change their lifestyle. So that's awesome, man. Atish, so the millennials right now, there are two kinds of people. One of them is like Saturday है, रात को full party जम के, Sunday का क्या है, सोना है तो है. And there are other kind of people who are like, आज Sunday, चलो ride मारते.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now? What trends do you see? How can they get motivated to get into the fitness lifestyle?
So, I think the number one motivation would be that on a Sunday morning, and I can talk specifically about Bombay, but I'm sure this is exactly how it is in most other cities in India. If you get out of your house on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m., that's all the motivation you need, right? And what I mean by that is, today, if you're someone who parties hard and you're going back home at 6 a.m., right? So it's a Saturday night, you've partied hard, you're going home at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
If you are not asleep in your car, right? And I would suggest don't be asleep, just open your eyes a little bit and see what's happening. If you're driving by a Worli Sea Face or you're driving by a Marine Drive, I mean, it is phenomenal. Like on Sunday evenings, Marine Drive is packed with tourists.
Yeah.
On early Sunday mornings, it is packed with runners, with cyclists, with people doing yoga, with people just stretching. And that in itself is so bloody motivating, man. I mean, and see, fundamentally, it comes down to you seeing others doing it.
Yeah.
And you just being like, I can do this too. Like, I feel like left out in some way or form, right? I feel bad about the food I ate last night. I could have burnt that food, this morning by working out, or about all the booze I've sort of consumed. And you're right. There are two types of people. One that are very like, Saturday night, I don't want to do anything else but party, and Sunday is all about sleep.
Yeah.
And then you have those, Sunday morning is like the best morning of the week, like whether you're a runner, whether you're a cyclist, whatever it may be. I personally feel like Sunday should be your most productive day of the week. But productive other than productive with doing things other than your regular work that you're doing during the week, right? So productive in the sense that either you're reading a book or you're going out for a run or you're biking, whatever it may be, right? But Sunday is a day that most definitely should not be wasted in bed.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I think it's important to keep a balance, right? No one is saying that, just cut off from your social life and just focus on exercise.
Yes.
Or just don't exercise and only have a social life. I feel like everything should be done in moderation. Everything should be done with striking some sort of balance, right?
Yes.
So you're going out on a Saturday night, go out, right? Socialize with your friends. All you have to do is maybe get home an hour or two earlier than you otherwise would, and maybe have a drink or two less than you otherwise would. And you can wake up on a Sunday. No one's asking you to wake up at 5 a.m. Wake up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., right? And do some sort of activity. Whether, again, it could be yoga in your house. It could be running outdoors. It could be maybe biking, even if it's going to the gym, right? I mean, I feel like there should be some sort of mental fitness or physical fitness that is part of your Sunday routine.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like with millennials, it's definitely about the social pressure that, hey, I gotta go out and I gotta party, and otherwise I won't get to see my friends, or I may, there's this thing called FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, that everyone has. If I don't go to this party, I won't know what happened. I mean, it's about time you focused less on other people's lifestyle and more on your own lifestyle, right? And the more you improve your own lifestyle and focus on yourself, that in itself will reflect in the way you are with others, or in your personality, or in your productivity, right? Whether it be at work or whether it be outside of work, right? And fundamentally, you will learn to strike a balance between work and play and work out. So yeah. And I think the important thing is today. So there's this saying that goes, I really like. Why stand in when you can stand out?
Wow.
Okay. So today, a lot of people do things to stand in, right? Because again, coming back to my FOMO example, that if I'm not at this party, I'm not cool. Or if I didn't go out on Saturday night and didn't get plastered, I'm uncool, right? But hey, take a different approach, man. I mean, it's cool to stand out. I mean, think about the most brilliant personalities of our world today.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're all people who stood out. They're never people who sort of stood in. They were never in line, right? They were all people who stood out and were out there about their personalities and spoke freely and did what was important to them as people. Right?
Yes.
So I would encourage millennials today. I mean, I'm a millennial myself, but that's the thing I would encourage them, right? Stand out a little bit. And notice that healthy or active living is a very important part of your lifestyle, right? And if you don't sort of pay attention to it today, 10 years from today, you will regret that you didn't pay attention to it today for whatever XYZ reasons, right? Because today, I see it in my own friend circle, and I see it with acquaintances as well. I mean, you have young people in their early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, who are having like lifestyle issues, right? Whether it be some sort of respiratory issue, whether it be some sort of heart issue, whether it be joint pains. And these are not things that you should have at such a young age. And these are all things that are indicative of a lifestyle that you should not be living.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I would encourage you to just take a step back from what your current lifestyle is and make some small changes here and there, and bring some sort of active living into your lifestyle, and you will see wonders. And in fact, you should be an ambassador in your friends group for active living. Right. And I don't want, I'm not using the term fitness or sport for the simple reason that I want to be neutral. I'm not saying that, hey, do be like a hardcore fitness guy or play like a hardcore sport. I'm saying active living, which means that it could be bloody well anything. It could be walking, it could be stretching, it could be doing some very simple yoga, breathing exercises even, right? But there is some sort of mental or physical stimulation.
Right.
So yeah, be an ambassador in your friends group for active living, man. It's a very cool thing. And trust me, if your friends don't realize it today, they will realize it tomorrow, and they will thank you for it.
Wow, that's awesome. I had a conversation with Mr. Nikhil Kapoor, who is a wellness hotelier himself and an Ironman 5 times. Okay. So he said to me that it's the social circle which motivates other people to get into that activity.
Absolutely. See, there's another saying, and pardon me, I love throwing quotes out there, but you are a reflection of the people you surround yourself with.
Wow.
Right? And there's 2 ways that can work. One is that, hey, today my personality is so overwhelming that I am influencing others. But in majority of the times, it's that, hey, I am being influenced by others. Right? Because if I'm in a group of 10 people, I'm just one person, and 9 of those other people are influencing me in some way or form. So therefore, I am a shade of those who I surround myself with, right? Or I'm a reflection of those who I surround myself with. That's why it's important that surround yourself with people who are encouraging you to do stuff, right? So if you're going out on Saturday night, and you tell your friends, hey guys, gotta leave the party early because, I gotta wake up early to go for my run or go for my bike ride or do my yoga. Your friends should be like, yeah, man, cool. Like next week, I'm gonna do this as well, right? Versus your friends being like, no, man, what's wrong with you? You're a loser, you're this, you're that. Why would you leave early? Those are people that you want to have a conversation with and be like, hey, I mean, partying isn't everything, right? Or socializing isn't everything. You got to sometimes pay attention to yourself and to your own well-being.
Yeah.
So absolutely, man. Just having the social circle that supports you is very important. There's no right or wrong social circle, right?
Yeah.
Today, you cannot influence everyone. Let your friends do whatever they need to, right? Because today, to each his own. Yes. But it shouldn't be in a place where they are not supportive of what you're doing, or they are trying to put you down because you're trying to do something that's you feel like can benefit your lifestyle in a positive way.
Wow.
Right? So that support structure needs to sort of be there. And that's with everything in life. It's not only with fitness. It could be with work. It could be with entrepreneurship. It could be with anything. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So how is the health and wellness scene shaping in India right now?
Interesting question. And there are obviously several facets to this question because it is open-ended. But I would like to start by saying that fitness, definitely when you look at fitness, in India a few years ago, maybe like a decade ago, it was more of a fad, right?
Yeah, it was.
Today, when I look at it, I don't believe that it's a fad. I believe that it's something that's here to stay for several reasons, right? One of those reasons being that today, when you look at the younger audience, they're all being hit with some sort of lifestyle issue. Yes. And that's like a wake-up call to them, being like, hey, my weight is a problem, or my breathing is a problem, or I'm getting some sort of ache, or my back is giving me issues. These are benchmarks, or these are highlights for me to actually change my lifestyle.
Okay.
And I see that happening. And of course, this is like a post facto thing, right? So because I've had an issue, therefore I'm changing my lifestyle. But what we're also seeing, what I'm seeing more and more of, is that people, without being given a wake-up call, are actually indulging in this because they're learning from others' experiences, right? And I mean, today, when you look at running groups or cycling groups, right? I mean, running groups are no longer limited at 5 or 10 people. I mean, today you have running groups with like 100 runners doing a run on Sunday morning. You have biking groups like 100, 150 cyclists just going all out. You have so many different events in sports and fitness coming up. So whether it be marathons, whether it be triathlons, whether it be duathlons, whether it be your, what do they call these, obstacle runs and whatnot, right? I mean, they're all different. They're all giving the consumer different things, but fundamentally you're going towards the same end goal, which is living a healthy or an active lifestyle, right? 10 years ago, I think 2007, I don't remember the exact year the Mumbai Marathon launched, but 10, 12 years ago, I think there were barely a couple of thousand people who had registered. Today, you have more than 1 lakh people who are out there running in different categories, whether it be your dream run, whether it be your 10K or your half marathon or your full marathon. And every year you see like exponential growth in numbers of people who are doing the longer races, like your half marathons and full marathons, right? And what that tells me is that people are taking these initiatives up, they're committing themselves to it, and then they're competing, right? Not with others, but with themselves. So if last year my personal best was 2 hours, this year it needs to be like 1 hour 50 minutes. Right. And then you have a lot of media attention that has recently gone towards athletes who have sort of participated in Ultramans or in Ironmans or in triathlons in different parts of the world, right? And this is all great publicity.
Yes.
for the fact that others take inspiration from it, right? So I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what an Ironman was till I read an article about Milind Soman having completed one. And I was
Yeah,
like,
2 years
holy
back,
shit.
it like people got attention about what Ironman is. And
Yeah. And today, literally I meet every, okay, and obviously in my space it's different because I know a lot of fitness enthusiasts, but every fifth person I meet,
Yes.
is like, I'm training for an Ironman or I'm training for a triathlon of some sort, right? Either Goa triathlon or some triathlon in Sri Lanka, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very, very interesting, and I'm very
Yes.
happy that people like Milind Soman are out there influencing all generations, right, to indulge in some sort of active lifestyle. And then you also have other people like, heads of some of India's largest companies who are
Yes.
marathoners, who are runners, right? Whether it be Anil Ambani, whether it be Rashesh Shah, whether it be Sanjay Jindal, these guys are like hardcore fitness enthusiasts, man. So, and again, this is all like sort of a trickle down effect, right? It's
Yes.
influencing the common person or the youth or other generations, like I said, to take up some sort of active
Right.
lifestyle. And I think another very interesting trickle down effect has actually been of these different leagues that have become popular over the last half decade or decade or so. So whether you look at the IPL, whether you look
Yes.
at the ISL, whether you look at the IPTL, whether you look at Pro Kabaddi, right? That has led to a trickle-down effect of these leagues being organized at a community level. So today you have a Bandra Cricket League. Today you have a Bandra Football League. You have, some sort of Pro Kabaddi, like again, specific to a certain area in a city, right? And these guys follow the same format of auctioning players, of getting sponsors, of putting it up on YouTube. So it's very interesting that all these national level leagues have had this very interesting trickle down effect, and that's encouraging people to take up the sport, try the sport, right? And then lastly, I'd like to say that influencers have played a fantastic role. I feel like so today everyone's on Instagram, right?
Right.
Instagram has so many different influencers, like sports influencers, fitness influencers, health influencers, who are doing a fantastic job in creating some really interesting content.
Right.
That people are being receptive to, that people are actually
Getting influenced.
And they're adopting those things, right? So yeah, I feel like these three things, right? So whether you look at like your celebrities or your corporate honchos who are influencing people, then you have obviously your national level leagues that have had a beautiful trickle down effect, and then lastly your social influencers, your social media influencers who have played a fantastic role. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Like you said that there are people who influence other people, but there are still people who say that time nahi hai mere paas yaar. They have that sedentary lifestyle. How can they cope up with it? How can they get out of that mindset which people have right now?
So I feel like everyone has 24 hours in a day, right?
Yes.
I mean, everyone. Like Steve Jobs had 24 hours in a day. Warren Buffett only has 24 hours in a day. Elon Musk is running 3 bloody companies or 4 companies. I don't know how many companies he runs, and he has 24 hours in a day. So 24 hours are more than enough time for you to fit in work, for you to fit in your active lifestyle, for you to fit in maybe time with your family, and then also get a decent amount of sleep, right? And everything has to be in moderation. So I feel like time management is something that people should really be very alert about. And again, they should be able to fit in sort of fitness or their workout into their daily regime, right? And it's almost like, do I forget to eat dinner? No. Do I forget to eat breakfast or lunch? No, right? Because this is something my body needs. It needs nourishment.
Yes.
Well, active living or some sort of mental or physical fitness is also what your body needs. Just like your body needs sleep, right? Just like it needs 3 or 4 meals in a day.
Right.
And this is something that's not been ingrained in us, for generations. Therefore, we don't pay that much attention to it, or we consider it something that's secondary. But this is something that should be primary. In fact, this should take more importance over your social life, or this should, in some cases, take more importance or as much importance as even your work, right? Because today, if you live a wellness-oriented lifestyle, you will definitely be more productive in the workspace, right? And I think lastly, it comes down to commitment, man. Like today, if you're someone who absolutely needs their 8 hours of sleep, just for 1 week, only 1 week, sleep 7 hours, so wake up an hour early and use that 1 hour or 45 minutes extra that you have to do some sort of wellness activity for yourself. And in that 1 week, you will see the difference, right? And they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So hopefully that 1 week will turn into 21 days. And then once you've created a habit out of it, man, then there's like no turning back, right? So it's just about, it's got to do a lot with just changing your mindset a little bit and being receptive to the fact that, hey, I got to give this a shot, right? This is important. Just like, I need my sleep or I need my 3 meals. This is as important as that. And then just sort of do it, right? And again, it's not, you don't need a gym to do it. You don't need a fancy trainer to come and train you. Today, everything is available online, man. Everything. Like you have every type of workout in existence ever that's available literally on YouTube or on several other apps. So accessibility is definitely not an excuse you can use. Right? And it starts with your most basic stuff, right? I mean, do some breathing exercises, do some meditation if you need to. Start with like some simple stretches, some simple yoga, and then from there you can build up to start doing more sort of tougher workouts or tougher activities. And you can do all of this at home. You don't need to go to a gym. In fact, at UACTIV, what we do a lot with our corporates, because we also work a lot with corporates for employee wellness, is that we sort of teach them how to work out in their homes. Right? So you don't need dumbbells, right? You don't need to invest like a couple of $1,000 rupees in dumbbells. Just take plastic bottles, like 1 liter bottles, fill them with like a lot of water, fill them to the brim, or use buckets and fill buckets till like they're 50% completely full and do weights with that. Like literally, you can use napkins to do stretches, right? Today people talk intensely, TheraBands, this, that. Just use a bloody napkin, man. Okay, fine. TheraBands may give you a little more elasticity, but you can get the job done with a napkin as well.
At least there's a start.
Right? Absolutely. Use your table and your chair to do your stretches. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's there. It's available. It's part of your lifestyle already. I mean, the things that you can use, just do it.
It's just the willingness to do it.
It's just the willingness to do it, man. And I think the willingness really needs to come from internally, like for you to commit to it like long term. So yeah, be an ambassador for this kind of stuff in your friend circle. I just want to call it out there for everyone that it's cool. It's really cool to stand out, to be engaged in fitness, wellness, exercise-related activities, and to care about yourself, right? Because this is essentially caring about yourself.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow, that's brilliant. Wow, that's awesome. On a closing note, I would like you to motivate today's youth, because we're going to share it to everyone now. What do you want to say on the closing note?
On a closing note, I would like to say that my fiance, who's a beautiful woman, is someone that I have got because I live an active lifestyle. So if I have to push the youth, girls and guys, I would want to say that, hey, like, it's cool, man, to like live an active lifestyle. Like it's cool to do a sport or cool to do some sort of fitness activity or wellness activity, right? That's something that I've repeated throughout this podcast, but that's something I just want to say that it allows you to stand out. It allows you to take a step back sometimes and pay more attention to your own well-being. And it allows you to connect with more people at a different level. So today, if I'm going on a date with a girl, if I'm a guy going on a date with a girl, or if I'm a girl going on a date with a guy, we don't have to talk about work. We don't have to talk about what books we read or what movies we love or what cuisine we're eating. Let's talk about, hey, what's that new exercise that you've tried, right? Or, hey, what's that new gym that's opened up? Let's go for our next date to the gym. So yeah.
Or like, do a BRM.
Yeah, just change the tone of the conversation, change the subject, right? So yeah, guys, on your next date, I want you to give this a shot. Change the subject to fitness or change the subject to wellness, and you will see wonders. And maybe your next date could be a fitness date.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on the show. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I
hope-
absolutely did, and thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, whatever I've said is not complete rubbish, and hopefully people will see value in all of this. And thank you, Rohan, for creating a beautiful platform for allowing people to share their story. I think what you've done with Hit the Road and even the other podcast channels you have is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you, and thank you for having me and finding me and connecting with me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot more of your podcasts in the future.
Thank you.
I'd encourage everyone who's listening right now to actually tell your friends, tell your family, tell your acquaintances about Ep.Log, and to listen to everything that this guy has done, man, because it's very commendable. He's super young. He's very committed to this. So yeah, huge shout out to you. And again,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. I hope you would like to come once again and we'll have a lot of chat about health and fitness.
Absolutely, man. If you feel like I've done a good job now, I'm more than happy to do this again.
Wow, that's awesome. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for you guys to listening to Hit the Road with Atish Chhabria and me. And I hope you would like to tune in once again. So make sure you subscribe to us, Hit the Road, on Spotify. Yes, we are on Spotify now. That's awesome. Spotify is in India. Hit the Road is on Spotify. Awesome. So make sure you subscribe to us. We are on Spotify, JioSaavn, Castbox, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere. So make sure you subscribe. And we are on Ep.Log.media website. So make sure you subscribe, you listen, you share your comments, you share this podcast to others so that you can be an ambassador for a healthy living. Thank you. This is me, Rohan Thakar, signing off.